Cast, the Neil Haley Show, and the Reignstorm radio show with our host, Michael Aguas. Michael, how are you? I know you're excited about our guest today.
Yes, he is a friend for several years. I enjoy working with him, collaborating. Learned a lot from him. We've been able to share for quite a while, and I'm excited to have him with us and join us today.
All right, who's our guest?
Our guest is Tomer Dicturel, founder of Crossfield Strategic Partners, and he is a specialist in a very sought after field that some people understand and others really don't. So Tomer is an expert in premium financing, among other things, but he is, at a general level, a very advanced planner. This guy knows a lot of different strategies that could help people build their wealth. Welcome, Tomer.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Neil.
You're welcome.
So,
Yeah,
Tomer,
but
for listeners who've never heard of the term before, what exactly is premium financing?
so premium finance is a tool, like many other tools, when you use it correctly, can be very, very powerful. It's what the wealthy, the family offices that you hear of have been using for decades. And it used to be very, very hard to do and very limited. As the time goes by, more and more people can do it. And again, if you do it correct and if you qualify, it's an amazing solution.
If you had to explain premium finance to a successful business owner, those are typically the people who watch our podcast. But if you were to explain it to a successful business owner in 1 minute, what would you say?
So premium finance is a technique and a way to use someone else's money to save for retirement or save for estate taxes. It is very, very similar to what you do with mortgage, right? All of us own a home, and almost all of us use someone else's money to buy that home. Because if you use your own money, you'll be able to live in a little studio. But when you borrow from a bank, you get a nice big home. Not to talk about market appreciation. You make a lot of money borrowing from the bank. We mimic what we do with mortgage and home. We just use it for your retirement or estate planning.
And there are significant tax advantages that come with this type of planning too. So, what problem is premium financing designed to solve?
So premium finance, as I said, it's a complex solution that can solve many different problems. And it all depends what is the most important things for you. So let's say 60 to 70% of our clients are looking to enhance their retirement planning. And if you plan using the typical traditional way with 401k and IRA, you use your own money. And when you take money out, you have to pay taxes on it. That's what those geniuses over there at the IRS did. They gave us a tool to accumulate money. And when we take the money out, we have to pay taxes on it. So what we like to do is we like to use a vehicle that grows tax deferred. And when you take money out, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Of course, you know that solution is life insurance. But why use our money for that life insurance when you can use someone else? So very similar to the mortgage, we take a down payment, you put a little bit, and on top of it, we put the bank money on, and the solution is awesome. Should I explain to you how those numbers work
Please.
in 30
Yeah,
seconds?
yeah, that was my next question. Give us
Awesome.
give us an example. So let's say, yeah, go ahead.
Let's say you buy a property, $200,000, a piece of land, right? In New York, in New Jersey, where we are, can't buy anything with it. But if you bought a $200,000 property and the market goes up 10%, you made $20,000, right? 10% of 200. But if you borrowed from a bank a 4-to-1, 800,000, now you have $1 million home. The market went up 10%, exact same 10%. Now you made $100,000, 10% of $1 million. We use the exact same thing with the life insurance product. We let the money grow and grow and grow. Sometimes in the future, year 15, year 19, we're going to borrow from the insurance policy. We're going to pay the bank off. Thank you, bank. We made money with your money. We're going to give you the money back. And now you have an insurance policy that's fully paid off. There's a lot of money, a lot more than what you have if you didn't use the leverage. And when you retire, typically you'll have 3 to 5 times more money in retirement, completely tax-free because you do
3
it
to
as
5
loans.
times more.
Yeah.
Wow.
It all depends on your age, right? Your age. If you're a 25-year-old, you can make 7, 10 times more in retirement. If you're a 50-year-old, you'll typically have around 3 times more in retirement. Same out of pocket. Use leverage. Very, very powerful. Now, in the business world, people use it in many different ways. They don't want to use their own money. They don't want to tie up liquidity. We can generate in my business 20, 30% a year. Why would I use my money for something else? Over here, we use the bank money. You just put the out of pocket. Again, very, very powerful. We can use it for employee retention to keep the key guys that you don't want to lose, right? We're going to get for them a solution. The bank will finance it. And when the guy works for you for 10 years, he has a fully paid retirement. Very powerful again. Again, buy-sell agreement with two business owners. Again, very common thing. We need insurance on each other. Why use our own money when we can use someone else's money?
Yes. So,
So I have a question, Michael, if that's okay, like a follow-up to this.
Sure.
Tomer, how's this different than just getting cash value life insurance from somebody else and, versus working with you guys?
Super. So the process that we didn't get into, it can be very, very, very complex. Typically, when you buy life insurance, you have the client, you have the agent, you have the insurance company. Now, when you do premium finance, those are very, very large transactions. You have an intermediary, which is me, and I work between the life insurance agent and a bank to coordinate the loan. Similar to a mortgage broker when you buy a home. You don't call JP Morgan Chase and say, hey, can I get a loan? Because there are other banks out there that can do better than JP Morgan Chase. So what I do is I work between the agents and the banks, and I work with about 50 different banks to make sure that you have the best loan that fits your needs and will be the best thing there is. Now, there's a lot of moving pieces, and there's some risk involved in life insurance. You want to do it right.
And we'll talk about those risks in our next segment. But for now, would you consider this a liquidity strategy, an investment strategy, estate planning, or something else? Because it sounds to me that it's really a combination. It's like, what do you need it for? It could answer a lot of different needs. Talk a little bit about that.
So it is a combination, and everybody uses it for different purpose. First, you need to qualify for it. You need to be a good fit for premium finance. Not everybody's a good fit. Actually, 99% of the clients are not good fit. You need to have a certain net worth and a certain income to be considered for it. And then you need to be at certain age, and you need to be healthy because we use life insurance, of course. So that kind of eliminates most people. However, for business owners, it's relatively easy to qualify. And that's the reason most of our clients are business owners. Secondary, it all depends what keeps you up at night. Once clients discover this thing that's called premium finance, because most people are not familiar with it, right? Michael, we've been looking at it for a long time, and I trained hundreds of CPAs every year. You, Michael, train thousands of CPAs every year. And every time I ask, have you heard of premium finance? 1% of CPAs are familiar with it.
1%. Wow.
And when you look at life insurance and financial advisors, only 10% have heard of premium finance. And because it's hard to find those intermediaries, there's not many that do what I do. Only 1% of life insurance agents in the US have ever done one of those. So you really want to work with someone that have experience and have done it before many, many times before you try to do something you don't know how to do.
Interesting. And so that's where I've never heard, Michael, of premium finance ever. So, and I've done a lot of podcasts with financial people, haven't I, Michael?
Yes. Yes. I don't know if I don't remember you having that before.
No.
But so Tomer, you kind of touched on this a couple of minutes ago. So I'm going to ask you to drill down on this one question. Who is the ideal candidate?
Super. So the ideal candidate is a business owner, typically. And typically we're looking for people that have like 20 employees or so. Because once you have 20 employees, you have a certain income level and a certain volume to your business. So the insurance company require a minimum 5 million net worth in order to do premium finance. It's a must to have on your checklist, right? That's the first question. Now, if you're under the age of 50, we can work with you if you have 2.5 million net worth. But if you have, for example, 20 employees, your business got to worth have at least $1.5 million or so a year. And if you have a multiplier of 2 or 3 times for business valuation, your net worth is $5 million. That's kind of, if you don't have that 5 million net worth, even though you might love the leverage play, the insurance company won't let you do it. Now, with premium finance, it's not only that you got to go through the insurance underwriting, you also got to go through bank underwriting. And that's where we got to show the bank that you have the money. Banks don't like giving money to people that need the money. They always says, okay, we'll give you the money only if you don't need it. So you need that $500,000 or so income every year. Again, if you have a business with 20 employees, typically you would have it. If you're a W-2 employee, you can do it. We work with a lot of doctors and surgeons, lots and lots of them, because their income never goes down. I never met the doctor that the income go down. It usually gets bigger and bigger as they get more experience. And if they're young, you can do the 2.5 million net worth. Some real estate, a little bit of retirement account, and there you go. You have the $2.5 million to qualify. Especially if you're young, amazing tool.
Time, right? It's a huge asset for many people, but they don't take advantage of it until usually they've lost a lot of time. So let's look at the other side of that question. Who is somebody who shouldn't consider premium financing? Who is not a candidate? Walk me through that mindset or that profile of that person.
So if you're trying to save to retirement and you're 50-year-old and you're a little bit behind and you think that leverage is going to come and solve that problem, because we get a lot of those calls. I want premium finance. But you're a W-2 employees, you make $100,000 or $200,000 a year. Not that $200,000 is not a good income, right? It's respectable.
Very good.
It's a great income. However, you can't take on yourself the additional risk that it comes with. So in premium financing, again, we discussed it later at more depth, but there's a couple of moving targets. The interest cost that you go with the money and what the crediting from the insurance company is. We typically like to use IUL, Index Universal Life. And there are years that the index is not going to perform. Actually, you have to account for it in advance. It's just going to be some 0 years. And if your income is very limited and your upside is limited, we don't want to take risk that you won't be able to continue and maintain it if you have those 0 years. So we are looking for those high net worth clients that have the extra cash, they save on the side, and they don't want to use the money because they have other things to do with the money. I rather invest it in the market, in crypto, in whatever I like to do, because I generate a greater return than the 5 or 6% that the money cost me. I want to make more. For you, it's a great solution. If you don't have those resources, don't take on the extra risk. There's other things you can do. 401k, Roth IRA. Roth IRA is an amazing thing, right? It's good for you. Premium finance is for those who can afford it, and call it you outpaced the requirement that the government gives us for Roth IRAs. That's when you start looking at it, when you have the extra money.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reason to premium finance? You talked about who should be a candidate. What's the reason to?
The reason is inside this mechanism. You borrow money, call it at 6, you generate 7. See, there's this positive arbitrage, right? With life insurance, when you marry together with life insurance, is extremely powerful. That compounding tax-deferred growth is a snowball. Now, you do it with $1 million. The next year, you have another tranche, $2 million. By the time you're ready, you finish funding it at year 10, there's $10 million of compounding. Together with this arbitrage, oh, it's amazing. It's hard to beat.
So I know you all know Albert Einstein. He once said that compound interest is man's greatest achievement. That what
Yeah,
Tomer's talking about is powerful in the world of finance, especially when it's your wealth that's growing in compound terms. It's powerful stuff.
yeah.
So, with
The
respect
combination
to
of the
that,
compounding tax deferred and the advantages of life insurance, when you put them together, the fact that the life insurance will compound tax free, and when you take it out, you don't have to pay taxes. It's what makes it so different than all the other tools out there. The 401k, the IRA, the annuities, those have huge tax consequences. So when you use the life insurance with the financing, it's a jackpot if you're the right client for it.
so you talked about this, but it really seems like, you know, it can create capital for other opportunities. That's why business owners are drawn to this, right? It's a way for them to, again, plan for the future and use other people's money.
Correct. If you ask any business owner, would you like to retire one day? The answer is yes. Everybody wants to retire one day. I don't know somebody that doesn't want to retire one day. We enjoy what we do as business owners and we want to retire on our own terms. I might want to be involved in a little bit in the business. I want my kids to run it. I want my employees to run it. I want to sell the business. But you want to relax one day. We all do. So your business is what helps you grow, provide to your family, and do everything that you can. And when you calculate in the end of the year, you will see that your business is your greatest asset. So why not invest in your business and continue to invest in your business and use someone else's money to create your retirement account or your key man insurance or all those things we discuss? It's awesome. If you ask the business owner, what's your return on investment? I can tell you 99% of the time it says, my business generates more than 5% a year. So why not invest your money in the business, keep liquidity in the business, and, and use
And
someone
grow it.
else's money for your
Yeah.
retirement?
Yeah. Last question for this session.
Yes.
What should listeners understand before they evaluate a proposal?
So when you look at premium finance and you get a proposal, 9 out of 10 people says it's too good to be true, right? And then the first thing people do is they go to Dr. Google. Now, like they search it. How do I do it? Why do I do it? And you'll find two things. One, it's the best thing since sliced bread. I make more money than anywhere else. The other things they'll find is I lost all my money. I'm suing my advisor, right? Premium financing is as good as the person that designed it and created it. It needs to be done uniquely for each client, and it needs to be very, very conservative. I can show you a design that money costs you 2% from year 10 to year 20, and it will be amazing. All right. But it's not realistic. Money is not going to cost 2%. Yes, 5 years ago, money cost zero and LIBOR was zero, and my client borrowed LIBOR plus 100 or 120 spread, and money cost us 1%, and we made 13 from the index, and I look like a genius. However, the next year, money went from 1% to 7%, and the index showed return zero in 2022, right? What do we do then? So you need to account for those times where money is going to be more expensive and the index will not perform. So you need to be extremely conservative with it. And it all depends on the person that runs those design. So I personally will never show my client cost of money below 5%. And I will never show them return of 8, 9, 10% on the index. We have to be conservative. And if you're conservative on both ways, you'll outperform. So instead of showing my clients that the income in retirement is going to be $2 million and they only in the end up going to make $1 million, I'm a bad guy. But if I show them 500 and they make $1 million, Michael, you're a genius every time and you're going to keep getting referrals. So I prep them for less than ideal situation. And when we outperform it, They're all happy, and it's good enough, right? Why over promise? So when you get to your question, Michael, when you get that illustration, make sure you plan for bad years in there. That money is expensive and the index doesn't perform. And if there is a collateral call, because there will be a collateral call one day, make sure you can afford it. If you can go to sleep at night looking at what is the worst case scenario, it's for you. If the worst case scenario scares the crap out of you, don't do it. Don't jump into it. Don't take the risk.
Yeah.
Well, this is some great stuff, Michael. And there'll be information about how they can hook up with Tomer and Crossfield that will be on at rainstormmediagroup.com in the contact form. You'll be able to contact us or DM Michael or I. Michael, anything else to add for the first segment with him?
We are good for today.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Hayes Show and the Reignstorm Radio Show.